So starting after Slammiversary now, we're building to the next pay-per-view, which is called Zero Conduct. No, it's called it's called Zero Signal, and the other one's called Violent Conduct. So anyway, so that's at the end of August, and then Bound for Glory is halfway through October. So we have a slightly shorter build for Bound for Glory, but that's alright. We are going to move straight into our first segment. We have 3,534 people at the Chase Family Pavilion in Connecticut. And we have the now named Friday Night Delights, because I think Christian Styles referenced them as Friday Night Delights, and I thought, that is a great name. And it kind of fits into Hennigan's whole showstopper persona, and EC3 is I'm top 1%. But they defeat the Future in 10-17 when Hennigan defeats Anthony Bennett by pinfall with the Starship Pain. So Carter with a 73, Hennigan with a 66, Rush with and then the Future with 35s. Hennigan improves in performance, and they get a pretty good rating, a C64. So these guys are going to be. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse or not, but I'm indicating Carter and Hennigan. They should be a big part of our tag division for a bit. I think they were originally just going to be a one and done, like a 2-month kind of feud, but they're pulling out really good ratings, and it gives me something to do with both of them for a while. So I think I'm going to keep them together for a while. Moving in to Io Shirai, defeating Mistress Belmont, who is on a one-night deal. In 4:36 by pinfall with a moonsault press E plus 34. Shirai with a 33, Belmont with a 26. No worker improvements. Negatives for Shirai having a terrible gimmick, and that's about it. Next segment is Marshe Rockett defeating Joe Hendry in 7:08 by pinfall with the M80. Heyman did good work at ringside, as you'd expect him to. Rockett with a 41, Hendry with a 46. No worker improvements, though. Negatives for nothing. Wow, negatives for nothing. D plus 49 is probably one of the best matches Hendry and Rockett have had. Not together, but both of them have had probably alright matches, apart from Hendry had a good match at Slammiversary, but I don't know what I'm saying. Moving on. Into a E24. Shazza McKenzie defeats Taylor Hendricks in 6:55 with a Shaztastic Stunner. I'm assuming that's probably just like a Stone Cold Stunner with different theatrics. Shazza with a 35, Hendricks with a 21. Hendricks improves in flying and performance, though, so all good there. And our pre-show main event is the Unbreakable Effin' Machines defeating the Midnight Saviors, which was another suggestion from Christian Styles, so that guy's killing it at the minute. They defeat the Midnight Saviors in 9:46 when Brian Cage defeats Eli Drake by pinfall with a pump handle facebuster. And Elgin carries the match in terms of performance with a 62. Cage and Drake have a 48, and Conley with a 46. No worker improvements, and that's not a bad match at all, actually. C-59. And we start the show with a really fucking good rating, a B79. We see the Bullet Club, and we see their meeting in Japan. So Cody's like, okay, boys, and Zaya, because obviously you're not a boy. So we missed Slammiversary, which was a shame, but when New Japan comes calling, you listen. On Adrenaline, we all know what we're doing, right? I'll take care of Aries. Cole, you know what you're doing. Chase, you're making a statement, right? They all nod, and the camera fades out as the meeting ends. So we continue the Bullet Club for Life storyline. The Riddles or Bullets storyline advances or starts, and the You're No Alpha storyline has started as well. So I think we kind of know what's going on. No worker improvements, negative for being short. Next segment is fucking great as well. Drew Galloway's in the ring, and he says, so I had a change of heart. There won't be a celebration or appreciation night tonight. That'll be next week. Just because I feel like fighting tonight, and McGregor's not here, Mandy's not here. What's the point of pissing them off if they're not even here? And I know it seems like we're having a lot of open challenges, but this is a one-time thing, and this one is the only one that matters. So whoever feels up to it, come get your ass kicked. And Jason Jordan's music hits, and he comes out to the ring. Looks like he's Drew's challenger tonight. So yeah, he's had 3 matches, and 2 of them are title matches. I'm not trying to push him as the top guy. It's just kind of how everything's falling at the minute. B81's a great rating though. Moving on into an okay match. Galloway it was better than their match. It was better than Magnus and Galloway, so it was a pretty good match. Galloway defeats Jason Jordan in 12:29 by pinfall with a Scott drop. I'd probably need to change. I don't even know what a Scott drop is. I need to have a look to see if that's a proper finisher. Otherwise, I'm going to just change it to the Claymore. But Galloway makes defense number 4 of his Impact Grand Championship title. So, Drew with a 69 and Jason with a 56. No worker improvements. Negatives for Drew being inconsistent and both men having bad stamina. Moving on, and so this is the start of our next storyline. Jordan has lost here tonight, and he exits the ring and starts to make his way up the ramp. Hasn't been the best start for him in Impact, but it doesn't get any better when he's assaulted from behind by Adam Cole, who lays the boots into him before eventually throwing him off the stage and through a set of tables. And Cole just laughs and celebrates, chucks up too sweet and stuff, as the EMTs attend to Jordan. But what's gotten into Adam here tonight? B-73 is a good rating for these guys at the minute. So that storyline advances. And next we have Nick Jackson defeating the man who cannot win at the minute, Travis Banks. There is something going to it. I'm not jobbing him out, I swear. It's a whole story. That's the reason. It's called The Rise of Travis Banks for a reason. But Nick wins in 8:26 by pinfall with a 450 splash. C-54. Banks with a 31. Jackson with a 55. The storyline advances. No worker improvements, though. Negatives for Travis's momentum and inconsistency and poor gimmick, which is not great. But Banks has lost again. And Nick Jackson grabs a microphone and says, "Wow, that was real hard. I'm sorry, that was embarrassing, man. You're what, 0-9 since you came here?" They call this a pro wrestler. This Travis effing Banks, you're a joke. No one takes you seriously. You're a laughing stock in the back. Honestly, I don't know why you're still here, mate. Mustache Mountain embarrassed you on more than one occasion, and I mean, not even the fans like you. So I never want to see you backstage again. And the storyline continues. No worker improvements, no negatives. So we're moving into Nick Jackson versus Travis Banks because Matt Jackson is still injured. So I might as well push Nick as a singles guy and try and get him over a bit. Next segment is Mustache Mountain defeating the Bromans in 5:50 when Trent Seven defeated Robbie E by pinfall with the Seven Stars Lariat. Just continuing to get these guys over because my original plans for these guys have changed slightly because of something that I probably should have seen coming, but I didn't. Oh well. Tyler's head and shoulders above everyone else with a 65. Jesse had a 30, Robbie E with a 35, and Trent with a 48. But Jesse improves in Rumble and performance, so good for him. Unfortunately, he has all these negatives. He has 5 negatives. Shit. Moving on to not a great rating. But Andrew and Trevor make their way out to the ring for the X Division title match that they were going to have. The referee goes to ring the bell, but Lee kind of stops him and he grabs a microphone and says, "Drew, I told you, right? I can't compete. Hero dropped me pretty badly last night. Oh, last night's meant to be Sunday. And I tweaked my shoulder." And Andrew's like, "No, you didn't, but it's okay because I'll be back next week. And hey, I've got an opponent lined up for you tonight." So here he is. So is Lee kind of trying to wiggle out of getting a title, defending his title against Everett? Who knows? Does seem a bit fishy though. Next segment is not as good as I would have thought for these two, but Andrew Everett defeats Mark Andrews in 9:44 with a 450 press. Wow, 450 press. Jeez. Everett with a 41. Mark Andrews with a 46. No worker improvements. We're going to move on to a 44. This undercard still needs to be built up. Then again, this is a jobber match, so I'm not expecting gold. Matt Riddle defeats Nick Fahrenheit in 2:07 by submission with a guillotine choke. 52 for Riddle and 33 for Fahrenheit. Moving on to a D plus 49. Riddle is celebrating his win, but he's assaulted brutally from behind by Chase Owens of the Bullet Club, and Owens stomps away at him and stands tall in the ring, just too sweating like in his picture. This must be the statement Cody was talking about. So yeah, we are moving into Riddle versus Owens, because it gives Owens something to do, which is good, because I like having something for pretty much everyone on my roster to do. Of course, some people have to job women's division. There's currently not enough time to have more than 2 women's storylines. We've got 14 storylines running. It's pretty hectic. Obviously, some of them have been running for a while, like the management feud or Bram and Storm, Davey and Eddie, and all that. So once those are all finished, we'll probably have cut down, and when we eventually have a brand split, we're going to have a ton of storylines. Moving on, but we're going to have more time to tell them, that's the thing, because we're going to have 2 different shows. Next segment is a pretty good rating from Candice. We see a vignette hyping up Candice LeRae. It shows that not only is she hot, she's also tough. She's not afraid to mix it up with knockouts that are perceived as stronger than her. She showed this at Slammiversary. She said, "On Sunday, I let Rosemary know that I've got my eyes on her title. I'm coming soon. I may be pregnant," because obviously she's announced this already, "but I'm going to be the one to end her reign at Knockouts champion. Doesn't matter how long mine is, but I'm going to be the one to end it. So Rosemary, watch your back." C plus 68, storyline has advanced and gained heat. Sweet. Moving into her match, which is actually not bad for a women's match at the minute. Candice does defeat Nikki Valentine in 250 by pinfall with a moonsault press. Candice with a 50 and Valentine with a 17. Yes. Moving on into a match which I really hoped would do better, because I think it was really just short of time. But Eddie Edwards and James Storm draw with Bram and Davey Richards in 5 minutes when the match descends into chaos. A C plus 66, Storm with a 64, Eddie with a 64, Bram with a 60, so he did a lot better in this match than he did on Sunday, because he had a 49. And Davey with a 65. The Wolves for Life storyline gains heat, but the new Monster storyline does not. A couple negatives. Next segment both storylines lose heat. The match is dissolved into chaos, as both sets of rivals are trying to kill each other as they would. They brawl all around ringside, screaming and hitting each other with whatever they can get their hands on before half the roster empties to separate the teams, and there's going to be hell to pay for this. Yeah. Next segment is Aaron Rex making his way down to the ring, but before he can say a word, he raises the mic to his mouth, and then the Motor City machine guns come out. Shelley says, well, enough there, genius. Look, I'll admit you beat me on Sunday. Congratulations. But you said 1 machine gun was down, so you clearly have plans for Chris here too. And anyway, you pinned me here, but let's not forget it's 1-1. I'm certainly not down and out. Anyway, that's not the point. We can talk about that later, because we've got a proposal for next week. And Saban says, grab a friend, because next week we'll have the Motor City Machine Guns versus Aaron Rex and whoever's stupid enough to be your partner. So we have a match for next week. I'm not going to book it in because spoilers. But yeah, so next week we have the Motor City Machine Guns versus Aaron Rex and Mystery Person number 2. Or number 1. yeah, so Rex accepts. I forgot to type that in. That's alright. Next segment is not bad. Might be worse. It might be, yeah, I think it's about the same as their first match. But Kenny Omega defeats Matt Sydal in 8:50 by pinfall with a Kreutzer Wrath. So, if you can remember, you should be able to remember because it only would have come out a couple days ago. Sydal said that if Kenny could beat him, he'd get a shot at the WWA, which is our Alliance world title, which Sydal is currently holding. So yeah, he didn't say when, but he said he would. And this storyline advances. These two have great chemistry, which is why I have booked them again. Sydal with a 56, Kenny with a 67. The storyline advances and gains heat. No worker improvements though. And if this has been set to steal the show, we could be looking at nearly a B. Next segment is not great, but Omega continues his assault right after the match, and Bennett joins with him. The two continue to stomp all over Sydal, before Ricochet comes out to make the save, but Bennett just takes him out. And then the two stop their assaults eventually and just hug in the ring, because, I don't know, that's something they do. But they've proven their worth here tonight. The storyline does lose heat though, which is not great. Next segment is our main event, and it does alright. It does pretty good. For considering what Cody was doing before this, it did pretty good. It would have been nice to get a B+ though. But great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Cody Runnels does defeat Austin Aries in 21:36 by pinfall with a beautiful disaster, because he loves kicking people's heads off apparently. But Cody Runnels makes defense number 3 of his Impact World Heavyweight title. Cody's gimmick is getting stale. Shit. But Cody has a 76. He actually outperforms Aries. Aries has a 73. The storyline advances. No worker improvements though. So Cody's really trying to... Yeah, he's really trying to prove that he deserves to keep the world title, because ever since I said I was considering taking it off him, he's had a B+ 84 or an 83 match with Sabin, and he's had this match, so he's had 2 B or higher rated matches. I think he might have had one more as well. He's had like 2 or 3 really good matches, so, and he's cracked the 70, because before that he hadn't cracked 70. I think he did it once. He'd cracked 70 once, and that was with Rex, but he couldn't feud with Rex because Rex is a heel, obviously. Anyway, moving on to our final segment, which is also, it's a B79, so Cody retains his title here tonight, and he celebrates in the ring with the title. However, he goes slightly overboard. He just grabs Austin by the little hair he has and screams in his face that he'll never touch this title again. Impact ends with Cody holding his title above his head and his boot on Aries' face. So this is probably not over. Next, and the show, we have a B- 76. I thought with those, that's probably a B-. If that main event had got an 80, that would have been a B. But yeah, good show here. Nothing too noteworthy. We started a couple feuds. Kenny Omega will get a title shot down the line. We kind of start building up Candice a bit more, and Trevor Lee is possibly playing, not playing tricks, but trying to worm his way out of having to defend his title against Andrew Everett. But that match is kind of set for next week. Yeah, so I'll leave it here. Tell me what you are enjoying, what you're not enjoying. The usual stick. Do you think I should sign anyone? Obviously, I can't sign a lot of people. And if I don't think I can sign, if I can sign someone, but I don't think I can do anything with them, I won't yet, because this roster is pretty huge as it is. We're getting most people on TV, but not a lot. Not everyone, sorry. But yeah, what's your favorite storyline? If you want to run through the show, you can. Someone mentioned it was the I forgot the name. The hero lurking in the shadows. I think it is. If it is, my brain is amazing. Mentioned option C. I'm not sure if we're going to be using option C just yet, obviously, because Everett and Lee are currently embroidered in that kind of storyline, and Lee's a mid-carder. Everett is finally a lower mid-carder. But yeah, so maybe and we don't actually have Destination X, but I might do it at our first show during the year, which actually I might have made Destination X in January. If I haven't, I probably will. Anyway, so yeah, if you want to run through the card and, leave feedback on stuff, predict where you think stuff might be going, that's, go for it. But I'm going to leave this here. I'll see you in the next video.